All right, so this myth comes from a viewer. A guy in Iowa wrote in and said that his uncle used to take a bow and arrow, strap a stick of dynamite to it, light it, fire it into a tree, and when it would explode, it would split the tree up the middle.
Okay, are you sure this is a viewer myth and not like a Tori Belleci family history?
No, I'm serious. He wrote it in.
All right, well, I'm willing to try it. Sounds like we need a stick of dynamite, an arrow, and a tree.
As any William Tell fan will tell you, the trick of splitting an apple with an arrow is a blast. But according to this myth, an arrow coupled with dynamite can split a much bigger apple. But is this fan-fabled bow baloney?
Okay, for this experiment, I think we need to just go for it. Get the biggest log we can find and just anchor it to the ground at the bomb range.
But remember, we're trying to split this tree down the middle with explosives. We don't want to just blow it into pieces.
Right.
Full-scale testing means finding the right tree.
We're here at the bomb range to find out if our dynamite arrows can split a tree. These are our trees. They are pine trees from a recycler. Now they're 20 feet long and almost 6,000 pounds. So the first step, dig a hole.
The pine trees tech specs match the viewer myth almost to the letter.
All right, how's about right here?
While Carrie gets on with step one,
So much better than a shovel.
getting to grips with the pine's parameters is Grant.
And we've chosen the pine tree because it's one of the most common trees in America. In fact, there are over 35 varieties in North America alone. But there are two reasons that might make it easier to split down the middle. One, they have vascular bundles that run the entire length of the tree, and these are tiny tubes that carry water and nutrients to the top. And two, it's got a spiral grain, which goes parallel to the axis of the tree. Those things together might just help us get a split.
That's the theory. And with the target tree now standing tall,
Now that's what I call a real stick in the mud.
the guys turn their attention to the weapon, setting up a remote bow and arrow firing mechanism.
So we need to fire a lit stick of dynamite from a bow and arrow into a tree. Now, that is way too dangerous for us to do. So we brought out our remote arrow firing mechanism. This way we can shoot from a distance and we'll be safe. Plus, we're gonna be using a compound bow. That way we get the maximum amount of energy with the least amount of effort.
With the bow ready to go, that just leaves the payload.
We're not going to use dynamite because actually it's a fairly unstable substance. Instead, our experts Frank Doyle and J.D. Nelson have given us this. It's a binary explosive. It's a lot more stable, which means it'll go off when and where we want it to. And it has exactly the same amount of energy as a stick of dynamite.
After a quick test fire to make sure their remote bow and arrow is on the money, it's time to take aim at this myth.
It's time to load up our arrow firing machine, shoot it into the tree, and see if we can split it down the middle.
Do I think that's gonna happen? Sure, absolutely.
If we lived in a cartoon.
Wile E. Coyote Carrie has her doubts, but there's only one way to find out.
All right, so the dynamite's lit. Let's see if we can cleave this tree.
Okay, this is dynamite arrow. Take it.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
The arrow gets triggered, the fuse burns through, and then...
And the tree still stands.
That was a
Tree
good
just laughing at us.
It sure was a hefty blast. But when the smoke clears, it's clear it wasn't hefty enough. The tree appears to be pretty well undamaged.
All right, well, the tree is still in one piece.
Yeah, I don't even see a crack.
Well, maybe we need more explosives. Maybe this was more than just like a stick of dynamite. Maybe it was extra powerful dynamite.
That is a great idea.
After a surprisingly feeble first test, the myth is already on thin ice. So it's time to up the ante. Today's solution, double the dynamite.
So this is 2 times the explosives that we used on the first test. Let's see if this is enough to split the tree down the middle. All right, we're lit, we're lit.
All right, Granty, call it.
Okay, so this is splitting a tree with dynamite, double the explosives. In 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Wow. Yeah.
That was a good blast.
Well, I'd say this is looking pretty bad for the myth.
Yeah, I mean, we used twice the amount of explosives as the myth calls for, and still, we did not get any cleaving whatsoever.
Even with 2 sticks of modern dynamite, the tree was left with hardly a scratch, let alone a cleave. And Grant thinks he knows why.
Now, my theory is that the dynamite is outside, and when you explode it, all that energy just gets dissipated away from the tree and not where we actually need it to be focused, which is right on the trunk in order to split it.
And without that focus, the myth, unlike the tree, is looking busted. So what's next?
Well, any more explosives strapped to that arrow, it's gonna mess with the aerodynamics. There's no way it's gonna fly. So why don't we just push an arrow into the tree, put as many explosives on it as JD will allow, and just see if we can get anything.
Now you're talking.
For round 3, the MythBusters are going gangbusters, strapping an arrow with as much dynamite as can be crammed on, but too much for it to actually fly. So how much is too much?
JD says the amount we can use out here is 6 sticks of dynamite. Is that gonna split the tree down the middle? I don't know, but we're gonna get a big bang. I like big bangs.
6 drops of essence of terror, 5 drops of sinister sauce.
With the mother of all explosive arrows prepped and embedded in the tree,
Mega arrow is in place.
the team is taking no chances. They'll hunker in the bunker because this is going to be big.
This is splitting the tree with dynamite, 6 sticks.
In 3, 2, 1.
That was a good explosion. Let's go see if we split the tree.
I don't think so, man.
But we rattled the bunker.
There's just no timber on the timber. Even with 6 sticks of dynamite, the shockwave barely scratches the surface, let alone causes a cleave.